There's no need for your gear to sit idly, waiting for an exotic trip across the seas. Sometimes, exotic is right in your backyard, and its wonders are yearning to be found. In the last weeks of winter, we headed south, driving through the evening and night until we arrived in Virginia.
We crammed into a hotel room the night before a big adventure.
How's it going?
It's good.
And tonight we had the full crew, plus Nicole.
So not only is Andrew sleeping on the cot, he gladly volunteered to sleep on the cot, even before we told him that he had to sleep on the cot.
Yep.
How was it?
Good. This is what's gonna happen if an intruder comes in.
Right? Alright, good night everybody. Until the game.
After a restful night's sleep in the cozy hotel room, we packed up, had a quick breakfast, and hit the roads.
We drove into the hills, where fog rolled through the woods and icicles clung to rocky cliffs.
Soon, we arrived at our destination, Grayson Highlands State Park.
We grabbed our permits and paid our fees, then made our way to the trailhead.
As we drove, the fog gave way to a splash of sunshine. We were anxious to get out on the trail.
We made the final preparations with our gear, then checked the map and reviewed our plan.
From the trailhead, we would hike north on the Wilburn Ridge Trail, then head west to camp before a detour to Mount Rogers, the highest point in Virginia. Then, we would continue onto the main loop, camping another night. Finally, we would head south, sleep out one more night, and make our way back to the trailhead.
Now, it was time to begin the adventure.
At its beginning, the trail wound through patches of shrubs and pine trees.
The cold air sifted through the trees surrounding us, and green club mosses and golden grass sprouted from the frozen ground.
We continued hiking and soon emerged into an open expanse covered in a mystic haze.
It was clear. We were about to embark on an incredible journey.
We neared a gate leading to the main portion of the trail. Along the way, we spotted the droppings of the wild ponies that supposedly roamed these parts, and then continued onward along the foggy path.
The landscape around us felt so new and different, but at the same time reminiscent of our past adventures.
This part actually reminds me a lot of Dolly Sods. A little more crowded with the shrubs, but very Dolly Sods-esque.
We started to warm up as we hiked up the muddy trail.
Well, first the hiking is warming us up, obviously, but I just felt this warm gust of wind hit us. And it's just, between that and the fact that the mud sinks your foot down several inches every time you take a step.
Making it hard.
Warming up?
Which is a good thing. I mean, I'm actually very thankful for that.
You know what that means? Spring is coming.
We hiked past some rocks and came to a junction, but it felt like we were entering another world.
Well, I hope you guys are happy with going to the nether realms, because it looks like that's where we're going.
We approached a junction in the trail and continued towards Mount Rogers.
Imprinted in the muddy trails, we saw more signs of roaming animals.
I'm actually looking at it trying to tell if it's somebody on horseback who had horseshoes placed
They're
because
really
of the
small.
Right.
So
Seems
So-
unlikely because it's going from left to right.
But if you look here, there's a clear cutoff point and it divots back in, which is the typical shape of a horseshoe.
Regardless of whether we found the tracks of a horseback rider or something else, we continued on through the foggy fields and soggy trails.
The trail would weave from open meadows into thicker sections surrounded by conifer trees.
But all along, the trail was consistently muddy. In some parts, the mud was mixed with brittle ice.
As we hiked, we saw distant meadows through the fog, water seeping out from the rocks in the ground, and more signs of the local fauna.
Walking by here, this log sticking out, saw some fur, which means they must come in and scrape along this log.
Something had been leaving fur on the branches by the trail, tracks in the muddy path, and lumpy brown droppings on the ground, but we hadn't seen it yet. In the meantime, we stopped in an open expanse for a snack. All right, so I've got a special treat for each person. I picked it up off the ground. But we're all gonna eat them now. Okay, you can eat them. They're actually chocolate-covered pecans.
Oh, okay.
no,
Oh, good.
it's horse poop. Why does mine taste like horse poop? Wow, these are really good.
So I picked up some freeze-dried grapes. They look kind of like rose hips.
Oh wow, they do. Yeah.
Whoa.
Is it good? Weird?
It's weird, but good.
Oh, that is really
Oh,
weird. Oh, that's awesome.
no, I like them.
So interesting.
These legitimately do taste like grapes. Like,
Yeah.
it's really weird.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
weird.
After our snack break, we hiked on into the misty void.
We came to another open area, where we stopped to take a break and take in our surroundings.
We then moved on, passing through a narrow walk-in fence to another section of the Highlands.
Here, we saw towering silhouettes of trees through the fog, and we came across a small campsite.
Like, that's a bench big enough for all of us, too.
It is.
We continued through red shrubs surrounded on either side by tall tree trunks.
The trail led us up a rocky staircase, taking us higher and higher on the foggy hills.
As we climbed higher, we finally saw the animals that had left all those signs along the trail. Beyond the fog, 2 ponies grazed calmly on the stony hillside by the trail. Their thick, woolly covering flowed in the breeze.
The trail led us onward, taking us further into the depths of this mysterious world.
While we hiked, we had run into other hikers who had information on upcoming campsites.
So we ran into a couple people who said the shelter we were gonna camp at is like really crowded. So we might go with one of our original plans, which is just continuing on the main trail and camping along the way. We'll see though.
Now, large rocks replaced the muddy trails. Lichen-covered trees and the purple-hued stones that speckled the hillsides added a splash of color.
We hiked further, coming to even larger rocks, which were covered in colorful organisms.
So a lot of times on these sorts of big sandstone rocks, you'll see a sort of crusty fungus growing. And that's actually an edible fungus. You can just like take it off and boil it just like wood ear. And I've actually seen it sold in stores before. It's kind of got this like black underside and brown top. And also on the rock you see all these lichens growing, which is kind of what gives it a lot of its texture and color. But lichen is actually made up of two different organisms, a fungus and an algae.
We soon climbed up to a rocky overlook.
What a view this would be if there were no fog.
What are you talking about? It is a great view.
And then, the trail led us into a rocky passageway.
Oh, this is awesome. Whoa.
We sidled through the narrow crevice. Moisture dripped from the volcanic rock that towered above us, feeding the layers of slippery ice underneath our feet.
Eventually, we emerged from the small cave, crept across more slippery ice-covered rock, and found our way back to open, muddy trails.
A rocky, icy hill loomed in the distance, adding to the strange and alien atmosphere of the landscape.
This place feels weird. The fog, I'm sure when it clears up, it'll feel a lot different, but it feels almost claustrophobic in some ways.
Thomas, on the other hand, felt quite majestic.
You can call me King of Virginia.
As we stood atop the rock, the weather seemed to be coming in a bit rougher.
Wow, that fog is getting way thicker.
Wind's picking up too.
It's much colder here than it was not that long ago.
It's so funny. I thought this was going to be like kind of a spring trip, like, oh yeah, spring's coming. Wrong.
What's the temp?
40, pretty much on the dot.
That's not wind chill.
Yeah, there's a lot of chilly wind.
Yes.
We continued hiking through the cold, thick haze, eager to explore more of this unfamiliar world.
The open expanses again transitioned into craggy, rocky terrain that we scrambled over.
As soon as we had scrambled over one set of rocks, we saw another in the distance. To our left, there was an open expanse that seemed to disappear into the fog.
Amid the rocks, trees and shrubs began appearing. Then we came to a grassy, open campsite.
You guys thinking this is it?
I don't know.
The campsite had looked promising, but we decided to keep moving on. And before long, we came to a sign along the trail.
This is the Crest Trail going this way, Appalachian Trail, Grayson, Highlands, and then this way is Virginia Highlands Horse Trail.
A bit up ahead, we found more signs.
So they pulled a sneaky on us and put a bunch of signs up there, but this is actually the real junction. It looks like you can take this trail to Mount Rogers, and this one will keep going along the Crest Trail and also an area called the Scales. But we are heading this way towards Mount Rogers, right?
Right.
Cool.
This junction will lead us to our destination for the night. We pass by more vast walls of stone before entering a forested section of the trail.
We wandered through a tunnel of rhododendrons, keeping an eye out for any clearings we could camp in.
Okay, so Thomas went up ahead to scout for a campsite, and we just heard him whoop, so we're actually gonna go see if he found something.
I got a really good campsite. It's kind of hidden behind another campsite up ahead. I might just run up ahead without my pack to see if there are any good camping sites near the shelter that we can go to.
We hiked further into roomy pine forests, and Thomas led us to the campsite he had found. It was perfect.
Yo, this is our campsite. This is 100% our campsite.
Oh my god.
Windy though.
It is true, a little windy.
We can set up our tents a little bit, into the woods a bit. Oh yeah, you're right.
After deciding to stay here, we explored the surrounding area and found our bear box. Everything was covered in moisture.
So because we're in a cloud right now, we're not actually getting rain, but the precipitation is getting caught in the little, what do you call these, Andrew?
The pine needles?
Pine
Spruce
needles. And so look at this. It's not raining at all out here, but this is all wet, all covered in rain.
Yeah, let's get back to shelter.
Yeah.
ASAP.
We decided to settle down in a wooded nook not far from the open meadows. The trees and shrubs would provide some protection from the harsh wind.
After setting up our tents, we looked over to a nearby fire pit to begin cooking dinner for tonight.
And as we waited for our water to boil, we shared a fancy snack.
As a little appetizer, brought all these prosciutto.
Believe in a charcuterie.
Okay. Take a little bit. Here you go.
Oh,
Isn't that great?
oh my god. That's really good.
I mean, prosciutto, when it's done just right, it melts in your mouth.
Holy cow.
With all of us settled into the dining area, we prepared the main course for tonight.
We opted for some simple dehydrated meals tonight, but they were great to eat in the cold weather.
It's warm, which is nice.
Yeah, I think that's the best part.
Yeah.
Oh, I can already feel myself getting
Can you grab
It's just warm in flavor. Eat that like a dog.
This actually looks kind of like a dog dish.
That's good. I like it.
The mashed potato flavor makes up for the overall blandness of mushrooms.
No, I like it.
cool.
What'd you say about mushrooms? The overall blandness of mushrooms.
I'm into
It
it.
was really good though, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the old country diner, you know?
Yeah.
Could just use a little gravy.
And some like caramelized onions.
Carrots.
Yeah, big pot roast.
After dinner, we trudged through the biting wind to put our food and scented items into the bear box.
This is some unpleasant weather.
This is very unpleasant.
Oh yeah.
So much for spring.
I feel bad for those horses.
Lucky for us, we had cozy tents to retreat to.
What are my general thoughts on the weather? It's getting intense.
What?
I cannot wait to get out of the wind. I'm not expecting it to be too cold tonight in my sleeping bag, so I think I'm just gonna leave my coat off and stash it. And I've got my bag of dry clothes. I think I'm all good. As treacherous as this weather is, one of the things I really like is being able to get into a tent and just like have all the things you need inside and just be really secure. So I'm actually feeling pretty good right now.
There's nothing quite like the comfort and security of the inside of a tent.
Just blocking out that wind cuts down on about 10
Yeah,
degrees.
it's
15
crazy.
degrees. Sounds like we're in the middle of a hurricane right now, but it's going to be a rough night, that's for sure tonight.
Well, for you.
This is a sheet of plastic. There is actually no insulation in there.
No, there is. It's a good sleeping bag. It's just for California weather.
Yep, good night.
I guess good night then.
In the morning, the remnants of last night's fierce winds were pushing the clouds quickly across the sky.
we woke up at dawn for an early hike.
Okay, so the plan is we're gonna try to get to the top of Mount Rogers to see the sunrise. We're not gonna get there exactly in time for that, but
We'll see something.
it looks amazing right now. So
It's 7:18 right now, but that's because it's daylight savings, so it's actually like 6:18. It would have been 6:18.
that's true, yeah.
We set out from the campsite and hiked out onto the bald hillside. The exposed sky was bright with the emerging colors of the morning.
We passed by the Thomas Knob shelter, then headed on to Mount Rogers.
We're getting super close. You can see just behind me, the sun is starting to crest. Pretty short hike, and it'll definitely be worth it.
As the sun rose, the clouds illuminated with a bright orange color, contrasted against the vibrant blue sky.
We entered a thick, mossy pine forest as we neared the top.
Almost there. Almost there. Just a little more.
But the top wasn't quite what we expected.
Well, crap, I think we reached the top. Yep, there's the top right there. And there's no view of the sunrise. Okay, we better scamper back down ASAP, try to catch the remaining sunrise. Yeah, it was just forest, and there was a marker that said you were at the top.
But we still managed to catch a spectacular sunrise at the forest's edge.
And in the distance, fog swirled and dissipated away, revealing distant blue hills stretching to the horizon.
After enjoying the view, we headed back toward camp.
Welcome to Thomas Knob.
Without the fog or dark of night, we finally saw the full majesty of the Grayson Highlands.
Finally, we had made it back to camp, where we all gathered around for breakfast. We had the perfect spot to take in the lush, vibrant nature all around us.
It was time for our favorite morning drink.
That is very dark coffee.
As long as it's not grainy.
So Nicole took some mud from the ground and squeezed it into this cup, and now we're gonna try it.
Yeah, a little grainy.
A little grainy?
Not bad though.
No, it's good. I'll eat the grains. I don't mind.
Ah man, sunshine and coffee.
I'm happy.
After coffee, we headed along a path to collect some water from a nearby stream. Between the golden meadows and the wild ponies, it felt like we were roaming through the Mongolian steppe.
After collecting water, we headed back to camp, where we saw even more ponies grazing calmly in the sunlight.
Likely descendants of the ponies used by ranchers that once lived here, the ponies are now used to graze and maintain the meadowy balds on the highlands, which were originally created as a result of logging and farming.
We eventually broke camp, and after packing up, tossed Nicole's frisbee around for a little while.
You're over here.
Then we headed out.
We emerged from the corridor of rhododendrons and immediately came to a large rock.
We all scrambled up the rock and were met with an incredible view.
After enjoying the view, we continued hiking and came to another section with rhododendrons and patches of ice.
As we hiked past towering spires of volcanic rock, we reflected on the incredible views we had seen today.
It's really incredible how much we missed yesterday. We were aware of it, but you just can't see it.
Yeah, and it still looked really cool, but it's just like entirely something different when you have that huge view to look over.
And
That is a heck of a view.
We kept hiking through a thicket of rhododendrons, which was just about at neck height, and we could barely make out the other hills and rocks in the distance.
Getting a little claustrophobic. Not anymore, though.
Before long, we came to another open bald along the trail and felt the warmth of the sun.
This would be an incredible camping site if we didn't have more to hike.
The trail soon brought us into a more wooded area, where mosses and conifers added a pop of green to the land.
Then, we entered a more hardwood forest, which was less colorful but more expansive, and found some fungi growing.
A lot of times you'll see huge Ganoderma mushrooms growing on old dead beech trees like this. Beech trees are actually known for like dropping their branches a lot and kind of dying away once they get bigger. So this is like a perfect environment for fungus to grow.
Since the woods felt so welcoming, we stopped to have a snack.
I love big open forests like this.
This is so cool, man.
I feel like you go down the mountain or transitioning through seasons.
Yeah.
It's very fall right now.
As one of the first sunny and warm days we've had in a long time, weather makes such a huge difference.
I was thinking that where we are right now really looks like the forest I grew up playing around in.
Also, it's funny you say it looks like fall because these are all beech leaves. And they actually like hang on to the trees until like late winter, early spring. That's why they're so fresh looking.
Only you would know that.
So the whole time I was walking through all of this, I was thinking, this looks like ancient Britain or the Scottish Highlands or something like that. But it's funny because it's just like, it's Virginia.
Yeah, like
It's just like we just forget a lot of times that places here, especially in the Midwest, have incredible beauty.
We emerged from the woods, hiking again through open grasslands, before once again entering a forest that was green with rhododendrons and conifers.
In the distance, we thought we saw buildings through the trees, so we veered off the trail to investigate.
Oh, those aren't buildings. Those are rocks, I think.
I guess I thought it was like a building or something.
I did too. Wow, it's weird how quickly the environment changes.
What?
Very weird.
That's a hitching post, or yeah. It looks like a hitching post.
Oh yeah, those are hitching posts.
That's the horse trail, so yeah, this is probably a hitching post that they built for people when they went to, I guess, get off their horses.
We returned to the woods where tangled tree roots wrapped around boulders, before emerging again into the open fields.
It was all incredibly stunning, familiar, yet new.
This is very reminiscent of Dolly Sod, but at the same time, it's funny how different it feels. Like, just look at everything. The rocks here and the bushes, it's just super awesome.
With its fantastical landscape, this place really may have taken the cake for our new favorite place to backpack.
I dreamed of going to places like this as a kid. I just didn't realize they actually existed.
I was just thinking, this feels like we are in like those 1980s style fantasy illustrations, you know?
Like Conan's gonna be running across that field right there.
Yeah.
The castle on the horizon, and then a Mongolian horde in the back.
Adding to the fantasy-like setting were the fuzzy ponies that we kept running into.
And while the ponies grazed, I also scrounged around for some resources.
Well, now that it's not incredibly wet, I'm gonna harvest some of this birch bark for a fire tonight.
We now entered another ancient-feeling forest with moss-covered stones, old, gnarled trees, and tangled roots digging deep into the ground.
I think this is what I look for most when I go camping, is places that have just openness and makes you feel really free.
Yeah, this is like the most freeing forest.
It's just that open feeling where you can go anywhere and explore.
So as I'm walking through this forest, I'm noticing a bunch of these tiny little shoots poking out of the ground just everywhere. And it almost looked kind of unnatural, but these are just shoots cloning off of the other trees. And given enough time, these might grow up into bigger trees. And they would look like two different distinct trees, but they're actually part of the same organism. I think there's a quaking aspen way out in Colorado, and it's possibly like one of the largest organisms on Earth. Just because it looks like a forest, but it's actually all one single organism.
We continued hiking into the forest, then came to another walk-in fence. After so much hiking, we were starting to feel a bit tired.
Are you guys starting to feel the fatigue a little bit? Or is that just me?
Nope, you're not alone.
Oh, you didn't feel it because you didn't hike to the mountain, Brian.
I slept.
And honestly, my legs are much shorter than your guys', so your pace was like me running.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Et tu, Brutus?
Luckily, we approached a junction, which meant we were making some decent progress.
The junction? It is. This is the Appalachian Trail. The question is, are we going to Scales or Old Orchard Shelter?
Believe Scales.
Cool.
We came to a latched gate, where the trail then led us into another, more familiar feeling forest.
As we hiked through the woods, we spotted a clearing with a fire pit just off the trail.
You like this campsite?
No, it's not near a bathroom. This isn't the campsite.
I would be totally happy staying here, personally. Because I also feel like that campsite might be crowded. Although it's Sunday night, but...
I say we keep going.
Well, it's up to you three now.
From the bathroom, we're at 0.8 miles. I would say we start looking for a campsite between now and like the next 0.5 miles.
Let me investigate this one. What do you think, Nicole?
I think it's a good site.
Andrew says yay. Thomas says nay. Nicole, you say?
I say yay.
We got two yays, one nay. Brian, what do you say? I was leaning towards yay as well, but I think that's a yay, Thomas.
Okay, so as per usual, Thomas is being the scout, and he's gonna leave his pack here and scout ahead.
See if there's something better closer to that shelter over there. I also really like hiking, and I didn't really want to stop hiking just yet, so.
So here's what I say. If you find a really good campsite, give us 3 whoops. Otherwise, you can just give 2 and come back.
Yeah, just don't start don't start
Okay.
setting up tents.
Okay.
While Thomas looked ahead, we all sat down to rest our tired and weary feet.
I took some time to write in my journal and look around for some more tinder.
Eventually, Thomas returned after finding another site that he insisted we move to.
So I know you guys are comfortable here, but I'm going to go claim that other one because it's really good. It's past the fallen tree and on the other side of the frozen creek. And I'll see you guys there, okay?
All right.
That campsite is not at least 35% better. I'm going to give him the berating of a lifetime.
What'd you guys say?
See ya, Thomas.
You guys better hope for Thomas's sake, for Thomas's life's sake, that there's some firewood.
Watch Thomas just be lying this whole time. And there's no campsite. I don't think. Gotcha, we're going back to the car.
When he said 0.25 miles, I didn't think he meant 0.25 miles of uphill.
Add on 1% for every 1% grade and elevation.
As we hiked, we hoped the site he found was better than the ones we were passing by.
Thomas, like, this really better be better, dude. Every step my anger grows.
Oh, I see the down tree in the creek, I think. Part of me, I obviously want the campsite to be better, but part of me wants it to not be just so I hear the berating of a lifetime.
We finally saw the signs Thomas had mentioned on the trail.
Oh, yep, Frozen Creek. I don't know, it looks a little muddy.
No, this is pretty good.
No, it is. Pretty good. No. Pretty good. You got a water source right there. You got a tree to lie on. You got a tree to put a hammock in. You got plenty of space.
What's the verdict?
You will pass this time.
This is way better. What are you talking about?
I would give this is 15% better. It's close enough.
What?
This is not 25% better.
I give it a 20.
Okay, we'll split.
Do you guys have a place? Do you guys have a built-up fireplace like this? That was this nice?
There are better sitting logs. Okay, yeah, no, it's 25% better.
You got a spot for 10 here, spot for 10 here, spot for 10 there.
Okay, but I'm taking this stone.
While we settled into the campsite, Nicole started collecting some firewood.
And as we prepared the fire lay, we nearly lost our shelter.
Oh no!
Luckily, Thomas had a pretty good baseball slide.
Safe?
I didn't put a weight in there.
No blooper reel.
I panicked and I didn't know what to do.
Now, it was back to preparing the fire and setting up camp.
A lot of the wood we had collected was damp, but
Worst case scenario though, I have more than enough tinder.
Armenian Korean. Actually, we can just look it up right now. Yeah.
There's something so satisfying about this. Just beating the crap out of a piece of wood.
Yeah. Having it split perfectly.
Yeah.
You can just leave them with those for now, because I think we're decent.
Oh, here.
With the fire prepped, we relaxed as the evening rolled in, and then got ready to cook tonight's supper.
So today we're doing ramen with a bit of a twist. It's a Korean dish called Budae Jjigae, which I think roughly translates to army stew. So we got our ramen. So Budae Jjigae, army stew, gets its name because Koreans would be eating ramen, but they would also mix in like American rations. So typically you get like kimchi and rice cake in there, but you also have baked beans, hot dogs, Spam, even sliced cheese. So I've got some greens like spinach, mushrooms, and peas, but I've also got some Vienna sausage and Spam singles. I've also got sardines. One is in water and one is actually in Louisiana hot sauce. Ironically, I don't have any kimchi, but this will at least add a little bit of that traditional spiciness to it. And finally, I've also got cheese, which I might actually put a little bit in there and just see how that goes. But yeah, we're gonna cook this up and enjoy.
Unfortunately, I didn't have any of my homemade kimchi, which would have been a perfect addition to this dish.
Yeah, it's like spicy and just kind of salty. It's pretty much what you'd expect, but it tastes good.
And then we added some vegetables, which admittedly didn't look all that appetizing yet.
Just break some blocks off. See how that goes. that should be good.
Hope so.
Yeah.
So where did you discover this Budae Jjigae?
You know, I actually think from Anthony Bourdain.
It's kind of like stone soup. Just like any type of random stew. If you keep adding stuff to it, it usually gets better.
Yeah. All the flavors eventually meld into one good flavor.
Yeah.
Has the cheese your own thing. So I read that they sometimes put sliced like American cheese in there, but
So
that's
like
all I
make it
had.
cheesy broth or something?
I don't know, just because they had it. Hopefully this stew is good enough.
I have high hopes.
Yeah. Better lower those a little bit.
It reminds me of a lot of my childhood because we grew up kind of poor. So like, no matter what was in the pantry, my mom could make something awesome.
What's that saying? Necessity is the mother of invention.
The deliciousness of a meal is directly proportional to how far you are away from civilization by foot. So like whatever's in there doesn't really matter. Not to say it's not a good job cooking. I'm sure you did great.
My old roommate used to do that. I'd like spend hours cooking. I was like, how is it? How is it? How it is? He said, it's fine. It's like, nobody even compliments the meal. After cooking on the hot embers, the stew was ready.
Oh,
boy.
That looks sweet.
I'm gonna get a quick bite.
Yeah,
a little closer.
Cook gets a taste tester.
That is really good.
Yeah?
Looks interesting. A little spam in there.
That tastes really good.
It really does. Yeah. Awesome. Let me get a sardine.
There's a sardine right here.
Ooh, actually, hold on. Spamming it up first. I'm really okay with spam in this context.
Context here is that salty and hot, it'll work, you know, when you're in this setting.
Yeah. The fish actually imparted a nice flavor onto that broth.
I agree.
Oh, dang.
Ding, ding.
That was good.
I feel like I could eat way more of that though.
Yeah.
We devoured that so fast.
I know. On to the next meal?
Yeah.
On to the
I'm
next
down.
All right.
With our bellies full, we enjoyed the fire's warmth as the evening set in. Around the glow of the fire, we reminisced about some of our past favorite camping moments.
I gotta say, mine is my first. I've said this 100 times before. When Andrew and I were in a tent at Hocking Hills without a rainfly, it started to rain. We ran to the car and tried to stay warm there. It was a terrible time, but I kept with it.
So my favorite camping memory is being out in a cabin with my family in Yosemite. There's this boardwalk, and we just all laid on it and started picking out the constellations because it was a completely clear night. And then my brother-in-law and I proceeded to make Wookiee sounds back and forth to each other to try and scare campers.
Can we get a demonstration?
The next morning, Nicole and I brewed some coffee and began starting a fire to ward off the cold.
Once the rest of us were up, we all gathered around the warm fire. And Nicole cooked a scrambled egg meal.
That's not bad.
It's actually pretty good. It's only missing cheese. That's my only complaint.
Eventually, the sun came out and began warming everything up.
One advantage to tenting with Thomas is he cleans up for you.
What'd you say? What's going on?
Last night, the screw popped out of my glasses and the lens came out, so we had to improvise just a little bit. This is the green twisty tie from my bag of tortillas.
After filling up on water, we packed up and headed out.
The trail soon led out of the woods and revealed distant bald hillsides. We made our way toward the hills, and behind us, blue hills stretched across the sky.
Soon, we entered an area known as the Scales. It was called that because ranchers used to weigh their cattle up here before they traversed down the mountains and lost too much weight.
Here, we saw fire pits supplied with wood, and of course, wild ponies.
It's amazing how little they react to us.
Yeah, it's funny because you can just camp out here with the horses in the same pen, but I guess it really wouldn't matter.
Ponies. They're ponies.
You're a pony.
I just want to pet its velvety nose.
You do look infinitely pettable.
They
So fuzzy.
I know.
Of course, as tempting as it was, it's best to leave these animals alone. So we tossed around the frisbee instead.
And some other hikers even joined in on the fun.
Then, it was time to move on. We left the Scales and headed up the adjacent hillside.
The more we climbed, the more amazing the views became. But the uphills were quite steep.
How about you, Nicole? Are you used to this uphill?
Oh yeah, I do it every day. No, my legs are burning and my lungs are dying. What about you, Thomas?
This is what I did. It's my favorite part of hiking is going uphill.
Ugh, you're sick.
We ascended the hill and saw the sun rays shining majestically through the clouds.
We hiked across the grasslands, peering at the distant blue mountains as the wind blew across the earth.
The trail now leveled out. We saw more large rocks scattered across the fields as we made our way across the open hilltop.
Yeah, definitely my favorite features of hikes are these big open balds and meadows.
Totally.
Yeah, it's nice. I like mainly when you're uphill and then it gets flat in a plain. That's
Yeah.
that's my favorite.
The relief.
We stopped along the way to take in the views and rest for a moment.
Dude, the U.S. is amazing. And we take it for granted a lot of times, but this is a 6-hour drive from home.
It's funny when you think about other people traveling to the U.S. They go to all the major cities, and they have no idea what we actually have to offer. Just the quaint places that you find beauty in. They're just unheard of.
This might be the most amazing place I've been, including out west. In part because it hasn't been turned into a theme park, you know.
It actually feels like we've been on a journey, across some land, where we're settlers or something.
Yeah.
Because it feels like we've traversed so many different scenery.
Mm-hmm. Thomas is gonna get dysentery. I died.
Then we hiked on, and another walk-in fence led us to a forest full of bare trees.
I'm gonna have to say this forest is almost 100% haunted.
Further into the woods was a large fallen tree splayed across the trail.
Wow. Think this is fresh?
It doesn't look that fresh.
I mean, this split looks super fresh right there.
We decided to stop again and to have a quick fancy snack. Spicy bean dip.
Like the inside of cheddar combos or pizza combos. I don't really know.
Ooh,
I think it'll be good, especially on pretzels.
There are two things that I have guilty pleasures for, and one is the artificial cheese flavor.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting for the bean dip, I was looking at these blue stains on this oak tree. I'm pretty sure that this fell recently. So I think the reason it fell over is because it's been infected with some sort of fungus that kind of started rotting it from the inside. Because the rest of the tree looks really fresh and not at all rotten.
The log had signs of both brown rot and white rot, but it still made a great log to sit on while we ate our dip.
And we have some pretzels and tortillas to try it with. That's good. I'm into it though.
It's good.
It is good.
It does have a nice little spicy kick though. That's really nice. That's really good.
You can taste the cheese in it.
And the jalapenos, I think. Usually with Nicole we skinny dip. This time we're bean dipping.
Accurate.
After eating and tidying up, we continued onward. This section of the woods felt familiar, like many of the forests we had hiked through in the past.
We came to a particularly soggy section of the woods, which again felt different from the rest of the trail.
Is it just me, or did this suddenly turn into an entirely different biome again?
Yeah. Did. Walking through here, you would never, ever guess that there were all those meadows way up on the hills.
Yeah, you really wouldn't, would you?
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing witnessing all the changes in the environments as we traversed across this beautiful land.
And to think that all of these exotic seeming landscapes exist right here in the eastern US is amazing.
Soon enough, after hiking further through the woods, we came to another walk-in fence and emerged in an entirely different environment.
Once again in the open, we spotted some droppings on a rock, and we came across another trail junction.
Here, we checked the map and made sure we were headed the right way.
We want to head towards the state park, right?
Actually, we're taking a right now.
Along the AT?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, we're close.
We're about half a mile.
That's not bad at all. What time is it?
Up ahead was another soggy area, which led us to another entirely different landscape.
We've gone through a portal and ended up in the Smoky Mountains.
This is way cool. If I had some extra time, I'd kind of roam around in here.
You could just camp under here.
I know. I bet it would be really soft ground too.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
We hiked through the rhododendrons and across a stream, and then hiked up a hill where there were more plants growing.
So another plant you'll often see in the Appalachians is mountain laurel, and they look kind of similar to the rhododendrons. They have a similar dark waxy green leaf, but the leaves are actually a lot smaller, and in the spring and summertime the flowers come out and they're really beautiful and intricate looking. rocks are a little shaky.
We then headed back into an area covered in rhododendrons and pooled with stream water, and eventually we came to another beautiful stream.
Something about the rushing flow of the water and the intricate pattern of the rocks around it made this area feel like a decorative fountain that had been carved to resemble a distant paradise.
After crossing the stream, we saw a promising landmark in the distance.
I think we're getting close.
How close?
Bear box is right there.
Oh boy. Bear box is right around the corner.
We hiked through an open grassy area with plenty of campgrounds, but further up ahead was something even better.
Oh, neat.
Oh, this is gonna be so nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
We've even got a picnic table.
Oh my God, dude.
Thomas has a bathroom.
You don't know how good that feels.
To ourselves.
Wow.
Oh, and check out the fire ring.
This is like a stage. We could have a performance tonight.
Karaoke.
Oh, baby.
Campfire karaoke.
Oh, baby.
We relieved our backs of our gear, took in our surroundings, and sat down to rest our legs.
Then, we sat down to enjoy a cheesy snack.
To a successful hike. Ding, 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 ding.
Wow. Notes of fruit in it. Was that just me? That's that whiskey.
The whiskey is stronger than I expected.
Is that whiskey cheddar?
Hey, that is like the best cheese texture.
Oh,
Oh, yep.
that garbage out of here.
Cheese on.
And we'll distribute the pretzels.
Take your pretzel.
I'm getting down to the crunchies.
Now that there is how you eat a pretzel.
Every campsite needs a picnic table. Should just build one every time.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Get a big piece
Like
of
that,
Oh my.
with the bean dip.
The stone tables.
Well, thank you.
Game of Thrones table we found.
Next, while Thomas gathered firewood, the rest of us played some euchre with a deck of cards that Nicole had brought. And even though it was my first time playing, the theme of the deck gave me a bit of an unfair advantage.
The jacks are always the trump cards. So I was memorizing the plant species that were on each jack.
These cards have wild edibles on them. Like
And
what?
Each one is unique too.
This is like Andrew's perfect game to cheat.
So it's pine, wild lettuce, goldenrod, and bulrush. So I'm just looking for those in people's
Oh my
hands.
gosh. You actually learned them.
Yeah, see, this one would be a jack of, I think, clubs or spades. Flip it over.
Oh my god.
You cheater!
As you can see, I've categorized the wood by shape, color, and wood type down there. So I would rather do this than play euchre.
We also, of course, broke out the frisbee once again.
That frisbee is honestly the
This is a great frisbee, dude.
I could totally see the appeal of doing the AT. I should
Yeah.
just pause on my life and be like, all right, I'm going to go to the AT.
Oh.
I can feel it shaking up here.
Finally, after goofing around camp for a while, we started setting up some sleeping arrangements in the shelter.
And after that, we headed to the nearby campsites to cook up dinner.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is pretty nice.
Big open sky, valley.
Yeah, you can
put yours right there.
We collected just enough wood for a small fire to cook over.
You got a spot.
There we go. Hold on. I don't know if that's enough tinder, but...
It's totally enough tinder.
It's not quite secure yet, but it's definitely pretty solid.
No, but a lot of these smaller sticks are catching pretty quick. Watch your hand, the flames are coming towards you. The thing is that finally we have dry wood to work with.
Yeah.
Woo, baby!
Even with that small amount of tinder.
With the fire burning, we filled up the pot with some soup to heat over it.
So because we're planning on having a fire by our shelter later tonight, we're gonna keep this small, and that's actually good for cooking too, because a lot of times what you want is like some embers that give off a nice consistent heat. We're just gonna cook this big pot of soup right on that.
To an excellent hike. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Brian.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you, everyone else.
Yes.
Oh boy. Cannot ask for more than that.
Yeah.
You could, but you'd be a greedy person.
Robbie was right. That's a hearty soup.
Yeah. Look at the view we have too.
I know.
That is just incredible. That is like heaven.
I know, that's really hitting a spot.
That is really good.
My God, dude.
So last trip we had a generous fan donate a packet gourmet. We weren't able to eat it at Red River, but this time we're hoping to eat some skillet biscuits and sausage gravy. This is going to be complicated.
We gotta make the dough first.
Yeah.
With the process almost as complicated as some of Andrew's camp cooking, we were curious how it would turn out.
We boiled up some water for the gravy and greased the pan with the included oil.
Next, we formed biscuits from dough and placed them in the pan.
Afterwards, we added the hot water to the gravy mix.
These are not the cleanest.
No,
ones.
the other one we did was fantastic. You know, you added those things separately. This one's complex.
We put the biscuits on the fire, and after a bit, added more oil and flipped them.
And while they worked, the rest of us relaxed patiently by the fire.
Beautiful, paint-like clouds rolled in as the second course cooked over the fire.
Evening rolled in and the biscuits had finished. We poured the gravy on top and then dug in.
Look at that. Now that one's cooked all the way through. We're not allowed to bring these anymore because this is a post-hike meal level. Oh my God. Andrew, you gotta try this. Or Robbie, someone, everyone.
This is like a Cheddar Bay biscuit with gravy.
Oh my God, dude. That was worth the effort.
The aftertaste is still lingering.
I know.
It smells awesome.
I did not believe you guys. That's like just pretty legit. Wow. I mean, that's legit.
You guys are really building this up.
Biscuits and gravy.
It tastes like it was just made in a kitchen. Like, that's awesome.
Kind of was. The
Yeah.
kitchen
Yeah.
of Thomas.
And Robbie.
The outdoor kitchen, yes.
We finished off the last bits before heading back to camp for the night.
Man. Back at camp, Nicole had gotten a proper fire started.
We all gathered around to enjoy its warmth.
As we sat by the fire, we reflected on our journey so far.
We had seen so many different environments, from mysterious forests to towering volcanic rock and vast grasslands.
It was pretty incredible knowing that all of this was a relatively short drive from home.
What felt exciting and wondrous was, in fact, right under our noses.
Eventually, we settled into our cozy shelter for the night.
Right here we got Tommy Appleseed. And he's wrapped up in an entire tent. Like literally you can see the logo. I got Andrew over here, he's looking comfortable. And then we got like all our supplies right there.
Brian's like in a cocoon. Butterfly about to emerge.
Nicole, you look like you're a snowman come to life.
It does look very wintry with those.
You look like Olaf or something.
Hey.
We're all gonna be in the same shelter. The roof is gonna amplify our conversation, so we can just talk all night.
Hey, we still got a little bit of a fire going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got the water. Like, look at this direct nozzle access. I can just. It's long enough. I can store stuff at the top, so when I need to reach, I don't have to go down. I go up and in, up and in. And you know, we got Thomas's shoes right here. I can just kick them off and be like, Thomas, go stoke the fire. Yeah, this is gonna be good times right here.
But as we were about to sleep, something odd happened.
So just now, somebody came around the corner. Andrew started flipping out.
I was just like, why is there a sixth person suddenly?
And it was a dude. He came from the parking lot where we started at, and he was just trying to get back around to go back to the car. So we found the way back for him eventually. But anyways, we were telling him he could clearly just stay here and camp. He was prepared for it, but he said something came up. So hopefully he's gonna survive. I mean, he will survive. He'll be fine, but we do not envy him.
A little bit later, the hiker we had met returned to the campsite.
Mike is back, which is good news. He's next to the fire. We got a nice little shanty town going here. It's good to have him back. I'm glad he's alive.
Me too. I got to the crossroads. Admittedly, I had packed enough food and water, but not enough clothing because I was cold.
Oh, you need a jacket? Here, take my jacket, man.
Oh no, that's right. Let's the fire here.
No, you should definitely take this, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. We thought it was gonna be warmer too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, throw some logs on there for him too.
Oh yeah, no, I will.
Get that fire going. Mike, you still good?
I'm still good.
Do you need me to have Andrew get you anything?
No, I got my phone.
I can have Thomas get you something too.
The next day was frigid cold. Fortunately, Mike had some quick and easy fire starter, so we got the fire going without a hitch.
On a scale of 1 to cold, how cold was it last night?
Got really cold.
I was actually fine just up until the last moments, but then I could definitely feel like the heat kind of seeping out of my bag.
You're a better man than me. I was like in a fetal position most of the night.
Anyways, nice to meet you, Mike.
Oh, and I actually see your face now. Yeah. Oh man, that was rough. I think I slept for like 1 hour maybe, but really.
I was like, oh good. But it didn't last long.
That's the hard thing, is when it's cold, like you can never really keep track of how much you're sleeping. Because I'll just like wake up suddenly, I'll be like, okay, how long has it been? I don't know, probably like 30 minutes. And it's like, okay, another 10 more of these.
2 grubs over here.
Definitely.
It's like we should bump tails or something.
I would have offered you something too last night, but I was literally using everything I was.
Don't worry about it. You guys were very more gracious than I thought you guys would be.
Yeah, especially when I started out going, who the hell is that?
Who the fuck is that? Get out of here! Get out! You go back, evil spirit!
Now a crew of 6 hikers, we packed up our gear for one last hike through the Highlands.
It was going to be nice to get moving, considering how cold it was this morning.
You don't have to travel far to explore the exotic. There's no need to travel across oceans to have a life-changing experience.
For us, the Grayson Highlands conjured up images of Mongolia, the Pacific Northwest, Scotland, but it was right here in the Virginian wilderness.
In wild areas, there is an opportunity for us to see the world through a different lens, to experience life through a new perspective.
And they also help us cherish our local landscape and the different communities and people that surround them.
But these places will only last if we protect them from encroaching development and industry. It's not just the rainforests and glaciers that need to be preserved, it's the wilderness in our own backyard.
More and more, our planet and our species face the threat of mass extinctions, melting ice caps, violent storms, and raging fires. And we don't have to travel abroad to stop this. We can fight for a healthy planet and a thriving wilderness right here at home, right now, in our very own communities. Because the wonders that lie in the forests and hills in places like the Grayson Highlands are too valuable to be lost forever.
Kind of blasted down the mountain. It's just me and Thomas right now. But the parking lot is just up ahead. Good times, good meals ahead. High five the Blue Blaze. We made it, Thomas. Good work. This feels good.
What a happy sight.
Doesn't it feel like ages ago that we were last year?
Yeah. I love being out in the woods, but I quite welcome the idea of taking my boots off.
Thomas is the only person I know who changes immediately. Gets to the car, immediately changes. I'm ready for a business meeting.
I feel like I'm a new person now, except for my hair. Need to do that a little bit.
Country roads, take me home to the
nice aesthetic
place
here.
I belong. Just Virginia. You gotta say just Virginia.
Could have used this baggie of utensils on the trail. That's liquid happiness right there.
Oh, you're going for the fry.
Fried squash, fried okra, orange fluffy salad.
Oh yeah, that's done right. Tink.
I like it. I've always seen this stuff, but I've never actually had it. It lives up to what it looks like.
Robbie, you're gonna have to drive halfway through because I'm gonna be asleep at the wheel. 1 pound, not a quarter pounder, not 2 quarter pounders, but 4 quarter pounders.
And you?
I got the chuck wagon and corn dog. Good. I don't think I've had a corn dog in a long time. I don't even remember the last time I had one.
Thank you.
Keep it going.
Tater tot in gravy.
Texas toast
in gravy.
Y'all want any more to drink?
Corn dog in gravy.
This. You ready for this?
I will tell it later, I'm sure.
This is unholy.
I'm gonna become a vegetarian just watching them do that.
I'm gonna dip it in ranch just because.
You know,
How's that?
I got the meat sweats.
So Thomas finished. Andrew finished.
I'm still working.
You should stop. Brian finished his main entree, and I've got a lot left. But don't think I won't eat this. Don't think that's going to waste. Understand? Yeah, these rocking chairs are pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's good to have land.
S11N, you better stay out here.
Eat! Eat! Hot! Good food! Good?
How far away is Andrew Skirka?
Skirka! Not far! Not far from here. Soon you will be with him. Why you wish to become backpacker?
Mostly because of my father, Jim Potts, I guess.
Jim Potts. Powerful backpacker. Powerful.
Oh, come on, how could you know my father? You don't even know me. I don't even know what we're doing here. We're wasting our time.
I cannot teach him. The boy has no patience.
Jason Bourgeois will learn patience.
Much anger in him, like his father. He is not ready.
Skirka? I am ready. Charlie Joe, I can be a backpacker. Charlie, tell him I'm ready.
Ready, are you? What you know of ready? For 33 episodes, I have trained backpackers. Backpackers like Aaron Jones and his friends Paul and Caitlin Alipena and Jared Kirk. Trained Melissa Poole and her daughter Sophia Poole, I did. This one, a long time I have watched. All his life, he has looked away to Eric Brummel.
Team
Anderson. Never on where he was. What he was doing. Adventure. Ha! Archives. A backpacker craves not these things. You are reckless.
So was Jasper Caparota, if you remember.
Will he finish what he begins?
I won't fail you. I'm not afraid.
You will be. You will be.
Now, don't take this the wrong way, but you are a Terminator, right?
Yes. Expedition Research LSE Model 101.
You're like a machine underneath, right? But alive outside?
I'm a cybernetic talking coop unit. Living tissue over metal endoskeleton.
You're not here to kill me. So what's the deal?
My mission is to protect you and your mother, Sarah Churchwell.
So who sent you?
Clinton Corn Johnson did. 35 years into the future, they sent me to protect you here and this time.
Shout out to Becca. Keep on adventuring. You never know when you might see a wild unicorn.
At last. Welcome, Hong Long.
It's an honor to meet you.
No, the honor is all mine. I imagine right now you're feeling a bit like Anne McBride. Tumbling down the rabbit hole,
You can say that.
I can see it in your eyes. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you sense there's something wrong in the world. That there must be something else out there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The wilderness?
Unfortunately, nobody can be told what the wilderness is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. Take the blue pill, and you'll wake up in the middle of the city, like none of this has happened. Take the red pill, and you'll stay in Wonderland, with Bruce and Elise Phillips. And I'll take you on your first backpacking trip, just like Elliot did. Remember, I'm here offering you the truth, nothing more.
You're gonna threaten everyone around here.